Let's try to warm up by making some homemade chili. I'm Terry and this is my channel, Home Again. Thanks for checking it out. Now let's make that chili. So this is what you're gonna need. Yes, I am aware that it basically involves opening a bunch of cans. I don't use my own canned tomatoes. If you watch any of my videos, you find out I'm about quick and simple. So this is what I use basically for a good chili base. And then if you want to doctor it up and make it extra special, you can put all sorts of things in it and make it your own. So you're gonna need at least a 28-ounce can of diced tomatoes. You can use whole tomatoes if you want to chop them up yourself. I don't know if anybody else has noticed, but I think years ago, like decades ago, the large can of diced tomatoes used to be 32 ounces, but now they're 28 ounces. So if I find out that I want a little more tomato and tomato juice in it, I will add a little bit of this can, maybe like 4 ounces from it, so I can get a full 32. But don't worry about it, you can use just the 28-ounce can. Sorry for my voice, I think I'm getting a little laryngitis, so. We put mushrooms in our chili. I know not everybody's a fan of mushrooms. If you aren't, don't use them. Usually I would use a 4-ounce can. We were only able to find 8-ounce cans at the store. So I might use half of those. I might throw them all in. We like mushrooms. So like I said, if you don't, then don't use them. I also use a chili bean in a mild chili sauce. We moved cross country and I haven't been able to get the kind I'm used to. I'm used to Brooks chili beans, mild, which I think is the absolute best. But I've had to settle for Bush's here or other brands. Still use a mild. I've bought the hot before and it is hot. So anyways, also I use a can of light red kidney beans, dark red kidney beans, 2 cans of tomato soup. Doesn't matter if these are brand names or off names, doesn't matter. Unless you think it does, then get by what you want. And some chili powder. So that's basically, oh, and a pound of hamburger. We use ground turkey, but you can use hamburger. I've used venison before. So basically, that's what you're gonna need. Oh, and some sugar and some salt. And I'll post the recipe up on the screen. So let's get going. Okay, so I've moved you across my kitchen here. I've got a big kettle. I'm gonna spray a little cooking spray on the bottom of it because I'm using ground turkey. So, you know, that has less fat in it than hamburger, so I don't want it to stick to the pan. We're just gonna brown this up. Brown up our hamburger or ground turkey or venison. It's really good with venison. And we're gonna add a little bit of this. Season it a little. You could add real garlic cloves, of course, make it even better. But like I said, I'm all about fast and simple. Okay, so I've taken my hamburger. It looks a little like anemic because it's not hamburger, it's turkey. But you can use whatever you like. I usually put it in a crock pot. That way you can walk away and leave it, and in the evening your dinner's all done. So I sprayed my crock pot a little bit with cooking spray so the sides don't get all nasty. So dump your pound of ground whatever, fried and ground whatever in there. I've taken the beans, all the beans, and I've drained them, rinsed them with cool water and drained all that icky water that they come in off. If you only like chili without beans, then this is not the chili for you. I like kidney beans. I drained and rinsed them also. And then I put in the chili bean with the mild sauce. I gotta pour some out so I can show you here. You leave that sauce. Don't drain anything off of that can. Get that all out. To that, we're gonna add our 28 ounces of diced tomatoes. And I need a napkin. We are going to add our 2 cans of tomato soup. Before you go, what is she doing? You'll be amazed how good it tastes. I hope you will. I think you will. 1 can of tomato soup, 2 cans tomato soup. I'm gonna add all the mushrooms. I know people may say, oh, gross mushrooms, then just don't add them. We like them though, and I couldn't get the smaller cans, so we're just gonna put them all in. So if you don't like those, look the other way right now. Then we are going to add a teaspoon of sugar, a teaspoon of salt, which I know this probably already has more than enough sodium in it, but that's like most soups. Soups are gonna be high in sodium. Start stirring this up. And now we are going to add our chili powder. We're gonna start with 1.5 tablespoons. That's where we start. We might end up with like 2, but of course the chili seasoning the flavor comes out as it heats and cooks. So hold on, I gotta get this lid off. So you don't want it, you can't take out once it's in, you can always put more in, right? So I'm kind of cautious about this. I don't like chili that like burns your mouth. If you do, then have fun. So that's about 1.5. We're gonna start with that. Mix it all up. How simple is this, huh? So just stir it real good. Sorry about the sound effects there. Doesn't sound the most appetizing, but it will be. So we'll just stir it all up good. We will put the lid on it. If you're not gonna be home, just put your crock pot on the lowest setting. Let it cook all day. If you're gonna be home and you want it done in a hurry, I'm gonna put mine on 4 hours because I got a late start this morning. So you can make this in the kettle that you fried your hamburger on the stove with. You can just dump all these ingredients in there, but then you pretty much gotta stand around because really this is best when it's set and let simmer for hours. And you don't wanna burn it on the stove top. So I think a crock pot's the best and the easiest way to make it. But if you wanna do it on a kettle and a stove, you can do it that way too. Just watch it closely so it doesn't burn on the bottom of the pan. So we're gonna let this simmer for a few hours and we're gonna come back and taste it, and see if we think it's spicy enough. If it's not, we'll add a little more chili powder. If it is, we're good to go. We'll just let it cook a little longer then. So later, when it gets ready, when it gets near being done, we're gonna make some homemade garlic toast to go with it. Well, sort of homemade. We're gonna cheat a little. I'll show you. So we usually like some sort of cheese with our chili. Excuse me, so while the chili's cooking, I like to slice up my cheese and have it all ready. You can put cheese in it, crackers, nothing, croutons. We usually put cheese, and I like the slices because it stays kind of chunky when the chili starts to melt it. We like a little sour cream sometimes, little dollops of sour cream on top of it, or some people like to use Greek yogurt. I guess a little healthier for you. And some like Fritos on the side. So we're gonna do that tonight. We're gonna have the works. We're gonna have cheese, sour cream or yogurt, Fritos, all that. So while the chili's cooking, I just like to get this done and out of the way. Meanwhile, over here at the crock pot, ooh, the chili's looking good. It's bubbling, it's ready to eat. It smells good. And you know what? I didn't need extra tomatoes after all. It's plenty, liquidy enough. I don't like it too thick and I don't like it too runny. But look at, that looks pretty perfect to me. Yum. So when that garlic bread is ready, we will sit down and have a bowl. Now to this I did go back and add a little more garlic salt to it to flavor it up a little more. I didn't have to add any more chili powder. I only used 1.5 tablespoons. You can add more if you want, but I didn't think it needed it. If my hubby decides later it does, I can always add more. I also put a few shakes of this in. It's a Tabasco green pepper sauce. It is so good. It's not really hot like a red sauce. It's milder. And I went like that once, stirred it, and then went like that again and stirred it. So a few shakes a couple times over. And you don't have to do that. That's just, once you get this base like this, you can do anything you want with this. Like I said, you have this as the base for your chili. Add onions if you like. I love onions. I used to make this when my kids were little though, and everybody wasn't a fan of onions, and so I just kept it pretty simple so we'd all eat it. But you could add onions or celery or green peppers or whatever you want to make it your own. Fresh garlic cloves when you fry your hamburger. That's what I would do. When I fried my hamburger, I would put garlic cloves, and I would put my onions in at that time if you wanted to add onions. So you can just make it your own, but this is a really good base to start with. It's delicious. Well, here's my sort of homemade garlic toast. What we basically do is whenever Jimmy John's, the sub shop, puts their day-old bread on sale, which is usually the end of every day. Usually when you go in there, they have some stacked on top of the counter. It's only 49 cents a loaf, and it's probably, for the sub buns, they're probably well over 12 inches long. They're really big, and you just cut them in half and split them down the middle, spread a little softened butter on them, sprinkle a little of that garlic salt once again, put them in a 425-degree oven for probably about 5 to 10 minutes. Just keep an eye on them so they don't burn, and be really light with the garlic salt, or you can use garlic powder. Like I said before, you really don't want to overdo it, want to make them too salty. But they're great. I do this with hamburger buns, hot dog buns, whatever I have left over. 49 cents a loaf, you really can't beat it. And here's the chili all hot and steamy. I could tell you over and over and let you see me taste it and tell you how good it is, but you really won't know until you try it. So give it a try. I don't think you'll be disappointed. And it's so, so easy. We eat it like this, or like I said, we use Fritos, cheese, crackers, put some cheese in it and let it get warm and melted, and some sour cream or plain Greek yogurt. So good. Plain or like this. So I hope you give it a try, and I hope you enjoy it. I think you will.